and welcome to StoryDev. My name is Luke, also known as Tianari, and we are going to be continuing from last time, where we began with the game engine, and we were going to look at implementing the meditation game mechanics. If last time we stumbled across an issue that I couldn't quite get working and I wasn't sure why. I've finally managed to fix that particular issue. So if we run this again for the first time in this video, and as you can see I've managed to fix it. The reason why it wasn't working was because when we iterate through this, it was doing this check, and when we got to the last cell, it actually thought, okay, x is equal to this, but this condition was also met. So it did this, but it didn't do this. So I've done an additional check to say, well, if x is equal to the last column and y is equal to the last row, then draw two lines that represent drawing the outlines of the last cell. So that has, of course, fixed that issue, and you just saw it on the screen. If we display it once again, we will see that it is definitely working. It's definitely there. Okay, so what do we want to do from here? So we've got this grid, and what is it that I actually want to achieve with this grid? Well, the idea is to have basically these crystals that you can use at certain points on the grid. Now, you would have a starting location, and so would, let's say, not necessarily enemies, but let's just call it enemies just for the time being, because there's no real way to explain it in any easier than that. So you might have a starting location here, for example, and then you might have an enemy here and an enemy here, and they have a set path. And what you're going to do is you basically have to try to go across the grid and try to fill up as much as possible. Now, each time you move, you would use a crystal, and this crystal would do certain things depending on what that crystal is meant to do. So, for example, there might be some things on the board that say, let's say there's the emotion love is here, for example. So you start here, the emotion love is here. If you were to use a crystal that vibrates in tune, allegedly, with love, then it would match that, and it would emphasize it. You would gain a score, and then you'd move to that location. And the idea is to try to gain as much of the positive emotions and negate as much of the negative emotions from the board before the enemies basically overwhelm you in some way. So that would be the idea, and you can imagine how that can be further expanded as time goes on. So how would we go about beginning with that? Well, first of all, what we need is some kind of indicator to see where the player is and where the enemies are. Let's just have one player and one enemy starting. So we'll have a player starting here and an enemy starting here, let's say. So we're going to do that. So let's see. We'll probably have some kind of state that represents what's going on the meditation grid. So let's create a new file. And I'm going to put it under data, and I'm going to call it meditation state. If I can spell correctly, that is. So in here, I'm going to call it meditation state. We're going to have a player, And that's going to be at a specific index, so the player's index on the board, or the grid, I should say. And then we might have, say, enemies. Do I really want to be calling it that? Spirits? I don't know. Whatever. Call it that for now. I think that makes more sense anyway. So that will be an array of indices. We'll leave it like that for now. And obviously we're going to have to create that at some point. So inside of main, not main, sorry, game even, we'll have the state, the meditation state, meditation state, and if only it knew how to navigate the frickin' folder system, that would be good. Import data dot meditation state, there we go. So we're going to create that. Meditation state is going to be a new meditation state, like that. And inside of here we're going to have meditation state dot player. So what would that index be? Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. So obviously this is 0 index based. So 0. This is 8 columns, right? So 7. So that's 7, 14. So 15 then. 15. And the enemy is going to be at 21. 15 and 21. We'll go with that. Be 15. Meditation state. Here it's 21. Okay. I might want to actually initialize that, otherwise that will not work. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to do, so we've drawn this, right? So once we've drawn this, we're going to actually iterate over our spirits and of course the player. So what should the player color be? Let's just, you know, obviously there's no graphics at the moment, so we're going to begin with something fairly simple. We're just going to draw rectangles to indicate where we are on the screen and where the enemies are. Let's see. So we've got meditation player, meditation state player. So what we're going to do is we need to work out what that cell is. We already know how to do it in this context because we're literally just iterating over it. Y, X. But in order to basically revert back to an XY position, we need to do some mathematics. So what we're going to do, I'm going to lexically scope the player index so that it is separated from the maths that we're going to do for the spirits. So what we're going to do is we're going to say player X is going to be math dot floor, I believe, potentially. And in here what I'm going to do is I'm going to say meditation state player so this is the player X. That's going to be divided by meditation grid X. And that will give us our player X in terms of the actual index, not the specific, not based on cell size. So we will need to take that into account when we actually draw the rectangle on the screen. And then for our player Y, we're going to have meditation state dot player percentage meditation grid X, I believe. Or is it the other way around? I think, no, it's the other way around. What am I doing? This is the X one. That is the Y one. What am I doing? I'm doing it the other way around. We'll do that. And then what we're going to do is times equals meditation cell size player Y times equals meditation cell size. And let's give our player, let's say blue. And then we're going to draw that rectangle. To draw rect player X plus grid X player Y plus grid Y. We'll make that 3 for the time being. So, assuming that mathematics is indeed correct, we will see our rectangle drawn in the place where I hovered over to earlier. Oh. Well, we've got it working, but apparently that's index 15. Apparently. Oh. It's not... Okay, maybe I was wrong. It needs to... It's actually, what is it? What am I thinking? I don't know. So... Yeah, there we go. Alright. So that's our player. That is our player position. Let's get our spirits in then. Let's get our spirits in. Spirit in. What am I on? Let's see. So we'll basically be doing the same thing, but for the spirits. The spirits, like that. Oh. Might be worth actually specifying that. So we'll get our spirit index. Meditation states. Spirits I. For spirits X. And we're basically just going to do the exact same thing. Spirit index. Percentage. Meditation grid X. For spirit Y. Equal to floor. Spirit index divided by that same thing. Just like we do with the player. And then we do our multiplication once again to get the actual size that we want. But it's effectively just a copy and paste with different things. In this case, what we're going to be doing is actually I'll make our color. Oops. I will make our color Let's just go with red for now. Just easier. And then we'll say draw rect. Spirits. X plus grid X. Meditation cell size, meditation cell size, like that. So, assuming everything is set up correctly, we will have 2 rectangles drawn. Ah, of course. What was I thinking? So, here's me thinking, because that's 16, that must mean, yeah, whatever. I knew what I was doing. I just wasn't thinking straight. Right. So, we'll have this. So what we're going to do is we're basically going to have a set path for everything. Now, we might have, say, procedurally generated meditation spots at some point in the future, but I'm not really that much of a game programmer to that extent. So how I would do that would be very suboptimal, if that. So if I were to do something along those lines, I'd probably actually end up getting some help, if I go that far. So anyway, we've got a player and a spirit. And basically what's going to happen is we're going to have these emotions scattered along the grid. Now, I do actually have some graphics. If I go and grab them, where is it? Crystals, that's something else. So I've got these sort of emotions, which I'm going to copy and paste into the folder structure. So I've got some assets now. So graphics, and in here I'm going to put in motions. So reveal in Explorer. So I paste all that in here. We have a look at one of them. So this is the kind of graphics you're looking at. Hold on a minute. 80 by 75. That's not right. I want it maybe 64 by 64 is probably what I wanted. Not sure what's going on there. This obviously these are graphics that were drawn by someone else. This was for the original Shadowlight concept. So I do have some graphics, but not for players or spirits or anything like that. That stuff I might just draw myself. Potentially. Depends if I can even do it. Yeah. So it might be slightly stretched in the game because we've got our cells at 96 by 96. We could just make the cells 48 by 48 and then it wouldn't stretch. I'm just going to drag the rest of them in. It's just easier. I'm going to rename these to emotion underscore hate. Right. So we can use these now, which is cool. So what I'm going to do now then is we go back to our main. What I'm now going to do, I'm going to say application resources load images. Now we don't actually have any fonts yet, so we can't demonstrate that, but we can demonstrate this star. So we're going to load those images that we've just put in, and we're going to start using them. So inside of our meditation state, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a emotions, which is going to be an array of integers, so where they are on the grid. And next I'm going to have emotion types. So what is the actual type of the emotion? This is actually going to be a string. I'm going to say emotions, that, emotion types, like that, right? I'm going to add another folder file in here, and this is going to be an abstract. So I'm going to say abstract, emotion, oops, the underlying type being a string, from string to string. That's what I typically do. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create emotion state, which is basically just going to be the exact same thing that I'm doing in the file names here. But basically what I'll be able to do is load this in, and I'll be able to refer to it to know what image we're actually using, which is very useful. So I'm going to do it in alphabetical order, just like it's doing in the file actually. Oh, maybe I'm supposed to make it and then it'll work. Oh, it works now. So we've got this, and now what I'm going to do is quite simply use this as a reference to create some emotions and emotion types in here. So I'm going to go back to our game. Now we need to actually load all of that into memory, those images. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have emotions, or yes, yeah, I'm going to make it a map string image. So I'm going to have an emotions, which is a new map, like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say emotions dot set, and we need to actually import that emotion. So emotion anger, and then in here what I'm going to do is say application dot resources dot get image emotion anger, right? And then we're just going to copy all of that and change these around. Brilliant. I'm going to be a good programmer, and I'm going to tidy this up a bit. Let's be a good programmer. Okay. So we've got this. So now, what I'm going to do inside of our meditation state is I'm just going to add some emotions. So, now I'm just going to do 0.5. We're just going to put all of the emotions in the middle now, I think. So I'm just going to say meditation state motions dot push I times meditation grid x. Plus Why is it 8? So 4. And then I'm just going to put in, let's say, motions, dot push. No, I've already done that. What am I doing? Stop it. I'm just going to put in happy for now. Because we just want to test to make sure it actually renders properly. Then we'll actually do some interaction in the next video. Wait, what did I just say? Did I say the next video? Is it really going to be that long until we actually get something finally properly drawn on screen? What the hell? Getting on, to be fair. Let's see. So we've got some emotions now, so we can draw that. So what I'm going to do is we are going to set the color to white because we don't want a masking going on with our images. And the next thing I'm going to do is when we go through here, meditation state dot emotions dot length. This is the index, right? So emotion index is meditation state dot emotions. I. That's our emotion index. And then we also have our emotion type, which we will get from meditation state dot emotion types. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do the exact same thing as we did in the in here. So we're going to do our spirits XY thing. So we're going to convert that to emotion X, emotion Y. That is going to be our emotion index, emotion index, emotion X, emotion Y, and finally we are going to draw an image which we're going to get from here, our emotion type. So we're going to say g2.draw scaled image, and I'm going to get our image from our emotions, which we are getting with our emotion type. And here we're going to say emotion X, emotion Y, and then our meditation cell size. Meditation cell size. So in theory, what we will get is lots of where is it? Lots of happy emotions. Let's try that out. Let us try that out. Let us try that out. Oh yeah. One thing we forgot to do. I was getting a bit too carried away. I do apologise. Grid X and grid Y. We need to make sure we offset the grid, obviously. That wouldn't be good if we didn't do that. So there we go. They're kind of in the middle. Sort of. It's not quite in the middle because this isn't technically 9 across. Maybe if we made it 9 across, that would make a bit more sense. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's make it 9 across. And then we can say that the player is at 18 and the spirits is at 26. Don't make that mistake again. And then what we can then do is say, well, this is now +5. Actually, no, +4 would be the middle. Never mind. Shush. And there we go. Slap bang in the middle. This is good. I like this. Awesome. So, what have we learned? Not much. Not much. We've managed to get two states which aren't moving at the moment, so we'll probably have some kind of timer here where we can say, okay, this can move, or maybe it can be turn based. Should it be turn-based? Well, anyway. So this is what we're looking at, as you can see. What we could do is we could make these a bit smaller. Maybe they can be their original size and just center it in the center of the cell a bit more, maybe. In fact, let's do that now. Let us do that now. It shouldn't take too long, I say. So this is what we want. So in this case, what we have is we have our emotion type, which we know is 48 by 48, which is whatever is the image. Let's get our image. So emotion image, like that. So let's get our so what I'm now going to do is I'm going to say emotion x is equal to emotion meditation cell size minus emotion image dot real width divided by 2 plus emotion x, and then oh, what are we doing? Float should be an int. What's causing this problem? That's an integer. Emotion x is inferred as an int. Okay, I'm just going to do a cast. That'll do. Then we'll do the same for emotion y. Real height. Emotion y. Then in theory, that should be everything. So now, we don't need this. We just need draw the image. Pretty much. At its original size. Which is what it will do without the scaled. And there we have it. Do we want that? Or do we want it bigger? Interesting thought. What do you think? Should we make it bigger? Should it be back at its original size, or should we keep it like this? What do you think? Let me know in the comments below this video. Yeah, I don't know, to be honest. I actually genuinely don't know. But I'm going to leave it here for the time being. It's kind of getting on, and I will get back to you tomorrow. Well, I say tomorrow. I mean, I'm uploading episode 2 today, and this is what this is recording episode 4, 5, something like that. But yeah. So yeah, whenever this video comes out, probably on the weekend, let me know what you think, and we'll go with that, I suppose. Alright. Anyway, that's going to be it for me today. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time.